Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have dialogue meeting on exchanges on enhancing cooperation between IGAD and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. For the international scene in Middle East, a UN report accuses Israel of being the main cause of the conflict with the Palestinians. Welcome to our newsroom. Mogadishu is a full preparation for the inauguration of President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. The inauguration ceremony of the new Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud will take place tomorrow in the Mogadishu capital of the Federal Republic of Somalia. Many delegations are expected to attend the inauguration ceremony, including several presidents of neighboring countries. Also, that a strong delegations from friendly countries and representatives of partner institutions. A report dedicated in this sense is made by our correspondent of the ceremony in Mogadishu, Ms. Awo Man Abdi, and Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, the newly elected president, won the presidential elections against Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo. Mr. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud has already been president of the Republic of Somalia before Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo. He is currently the 10th president of the Somali.
L'initiation des dialogues intersomaliens pour un avenir meilleur, porteur d'espoir, afin de faire face aux enjeux actuels que connaît le pays et atteindre un développement durable, mais aussi renforcer davantage les relations bilatérales avec les pays voisins. Awa Abdi, RTD, Mogadiscio, capitale de la Somalie.
The premises of the IGAD Secretariat hosted yesterday an important meeting between the delegation of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the IGAD office. This dialogue meeting on strengthening cooperation between IGAD and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was chaired by the head of the Djibouti's diplomacy, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, and so the participation of the Royal Court advisors and former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ahmed bin Abdul Aziz Kattam, and the Executive Secretary of IGAD, Workne Gebeyehu. This meeting is the beginning of greater coordination and cooperation between the Kingdom and all the member states of these organizations, which is IGAD, with which the Kingdom has distinguished bilateral relations within the framework of a common collective action through the noble objectives and principles for which these entities was established. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia attaches great importance to IGAD in achieving the objectives of the Arab-African Partnership. In his speech, the Executive Secretary of IGAD, Dr. Workne Gebeyehu, emphasized that this meeting is of paramount importance in order to maintain a distinguished bilateral relationship with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
You recall that since its birth in 1986, IGAD, originally known as the Intergovernmental Authority on Drought and Development, the organization set out to promote regional cooperation among countries in the Horn of Africa and beyond, to deal with the common binding challenges and recurring droughts that affected the region.
The Royal Court advisors and former Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Ahmed bin Abdul Aziz Kattam, was pleased to convey the greeting of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Deputy Prime Ministers and Minister of Defense. May God preserve them, who ordered me to meet with the members of these organizations, believing in the Kingdom's interests in communicating and cooperating with you to achieve the interests of African countries and their peoples within the framework of coordination and exchange of views on many issues that service our common interests. Finally, he stated that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia also considers the importance of your organizations in achieving the objectives of the Arab-African Partnership. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, expressed his satisfaction at having participated in this meeting between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Islamic Development Bank.
His Excellency Ahmed bin Abdulaziz Qattan for many years. He has been a senior diplomat in Cairo representing the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at the Arab League for more than a decade. Then he has been appointed Deputy Foreign Minister for African Affairs, a position he occupied until his new assignment. Now, in his capacity as the Special Advisor at the Royal Court in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he is touring our region, the Horn of Africa. I can tell you that he is a very able diplomat, a competent politician, and I confirm also that he is very much interested in what's going on in this region, and he will certainly be very helpful. It's quite obvious that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has always had historic and strong relations with our countries in the region. The geographical proximity, the economic ties, and the cultural and religious affinities have charted the way to such constructive and productive bonds. The IGAD member countries consider the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as a valuable partner. Beyond our social and economic relations, there are new common challenges that are emerging nowadays. The fight against piracy, terrorism, illegal migration, and human trafficking, which put the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, our shared maritime space, under constant threats. And as such, better cooperation and stronger coordination remain essential with a view to make this critical maritime route safer. We need to work hand in hand to overcome these challenges. IGAD and the Council of Riparian Countries of the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden are bound to build this strategic partnership. Last but not least, I also echo the appeal of my brother Verkene, so that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia contribute to IGAD so that the new headquarters be built very soon.
IGAD organized in collaboration with the UNHCR Regional Office regional training of trainers from IGAD member state, a program funded by Sweden within the framework of the Regional Refugee Management Program. IGAD organized a regional training of trainers workshop to assist the IGAD member state to harmonize refugee management practices based on the full and inclusive applications of international refugee protection principles. This meeting brought together all IGAD countries, namely Ethiopia, Uganda, Kenya, Sudan, South Sudan, Somalia, the Republic of Djibouti, as well as UNHCR. The representative of the UNHCR, Yohandam Kol Sakor, said that the UNHCR and IGAD have a long history of collaboration for the management and protections of refugees in IGAD member states.
UNHCR and IGAD have a long history of collaboration for the management and protection of refugees in the IGAD member states. I take this opportunity to commend IGAD for the outstanding achievements attained by developing several frameworks to address displacement. The Nairobi Declaration is an example which provided the blueprint for much of the work we do in the region on the comprehensive responses. More recently, IGAD once again led the way, which launch of a support from at the Global Refugee Forum in 2019 with the intent to mobilize solidarity to address large scale of protracted displacement situation in the IGAD region. Recent progresses in the form of a solution initiative for Sudan and South Sudan, as well as key donor interest in engaging with the IGAD support platform, it showed that IGAD continued to play a positive role in mobilizing support by easing pressure on host countries, enhancing refugee self-reliance, and supporting conditions in country of origin for sustainable, safe, and dignified return.
Fathi Abubakar Alwan, Director of Health and Social Development on the occasions of the workshop, indicated the importance of the protections and management of refugees. Listen to her, please.
And also welcome to all of you to this important meeting, which is named the Regional Training of Trainers on Refugee Protection. I would like also to thank the government of Djibouti for their generosity in hosting our member state, and it is always an absolute pleasure to see you all here. We do understand that all of you have a busy schedule, but also IGAD appreciate your dedication and commitment to come and contribute to this meeting. Allow me also just to apologize on behalf of His Excellency Dr. Werkene Gebeyehu, the IGAD Executive Secretary, who is not here among us, but also will join us later. I would like also to acknowledge and also appreciate the presence of our bilateral partners, UNHCR, who have availed their experts to assist in facilitating this regional training of trainers, and the government of Sweden, which is also continue to provide the technical and financial support for our operation. As you all know, IGAD is a region which hosts one of the highest concentration of displaced persons in Africa. By the end of 2021, the IGAD region was the home to around 4.8 million refugees and asylum seekers, but also 10 million IDPs. Many displaced populations also remain protracted in situation and also found themselves difficult to break free from the cycle of dependence on humanitarian assistance and also to achieve the sustainable solutions. Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, with this record number of people displaced in our IGAD region, the issue of how member states cooperate to manage and respond to their different needs has become more relevant now more than ever.
The Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior, Siraj Omar Abdul Qadir, has indicated in his speech that, as my predecessor said, the theme of the refugee is an important theme that we hold very dear in Djibouti. As you know, Djibouti has a long tradition of hosting refugees, and this had began almost after its independence in the year 77. Since then, the reception of refugees has not ceased, and it is done through the government agencies in charge of refugee, ONARSA, which receives and manages in a general way the issue related to refugees. I must also emphasize that the valuable support of the UNHCR allows us to truly manage this difficult problem that is that of refugee. The Minister of Labor in charge of formalization social protection, His Excellency Omar Abdi Saeed, at the head of a Djiboutian tripartite delegation, is currently taking part in the 110th sessions of the International Labour Conference, which began its work since May 13 in Geneva. On this occasion, the Minister was accompanied by an important tripartite delegation composed of the leaders of trade unions, UGTD and UDT, and the National Confederations of the Employers of Djibouti, the Director of Labor, the Inspector General of Labor, the technical advisors of the Minister in charge of communication, as well as the Director General of the ANEFIP. On the sidelines of the sessions, the Minister of Labor met with the new Director General of the Fortis, Gilbert Hugo, On this occasion, the minister first addressed his warm congratulations for his appointment to this position, while wishing him every success in the exercises of his new function. The minister then spoke about how the pandemic has taught us about the need to help the poor and vulnerable by improving social protections, and emphasized the urgency of investing in comprehensive and adequate social protection system. The Minister of Labor met with the Deputy Director General of the International Offices, Musa Umaru, to discuss issues of common interests relating to the strengthening of tripartism and the promotion of decent work in Djibouti. The Minister of Youth and Culture with the UNFD and Djibouti City Mayor launched this afternoon the CDC cleaning and awareness relay. The event was attended by the Minister of Youth and Culture, Her Excellency Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe, the Secretary General of UNFD Fatuma Musa, the Mayor of Djibouti City Saeed Dawood, parliamentarian namely Honorable Umma Muhammad Hamid, and Shukri Ali Ainan, President and elected officials of the commune executives of the Ministry of Youth and Culture and the City Hall, as well as other guests. The awareness campaign, which is part of the programs Djibouti Zero Waste initiated by the City Councils of Djibouti, will be relayed until June 24 through all the CDCs of the capital. The torch of the relay was handed over to the Director of CDC, Ms. Shukri Hassan, who will hand it over in turn to the Manager of the CDCs, who will undertake awareness actions with the youth and the local communities. The President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Mohammed Ali Hamid, opened on Wednesday, June 8, a seminar on climate change and the role of the National Assembly, organized within the framework of the Plan 2 project, which is the result of a collaboration between the National Assembly, the European Union, and the Interparliamentary Union. The seminar, which brought together many parliamentarians, was attended by the Secretary General of the National Assembly, the European Union, the Interparliamentary Unions, and the national experts. In a pre-recorded message broadcast to all participants, President Mohammed Ali Hamid emphasized that he wished to organize this awareness-raising seminar on the role of the National Assembly in the fight against climate change, because he considers this subject to be of paramount importance, and that we have indeed entered an era of climate emergency. All the participants concluded that the means given to parliamentarians are multiple. They can, for example, table amendments and initiate bills to fight against climate change and find sustainable solutions. A delegation of the National Defense College of Nigeria is in Djibouti for a business visit led by Amiral Anefo Cletus Yuko. The delegation is composed of 30 senior officers, male and female, of the National Defense Colleges of Nigeria, which also included several nationalities in its midst, namely Nigeria, Mali, and India. The delegation met the president of the authorities and of the port and free zone, Abubakar Umar Hadi. They had important discussions on the development of the ultra-modern infrastructure that possesses the different port entities of Djibouti. The delegation appreciated the explanations that they were given by the president of the authority and ports and free zone. Then the guided towers in the Djibouti multipurpose port of the delegation is led by the commander of the Djiboutian National Navy, Colonel Ahmed Daher Jama, in the presence of the officers of the Directorate of International Relations. The guided towers was conducted in a concrete manner, allowing the delegation to see the different equipment and the machinery that the DMP is equipped with to facilitate international trade. The port of Djibouti remains the first in sub-Saharan Africa.
I think I've met a person who is very knowledgeable, who knows his work, who is so well received here. He's giving us insights into the port's operation and the whole free trade zone in Djibouti, future plans, and others. It is something worth emulating. He's answered most of our questions, and candidly, I look forward to a time we can come back and see these dreams fulfilled. Most importantly, he's brought up the issue of opening a transport connection by rail from east of Africa to West Africa. I think this is something the two governments and other governments involved should look at. It will indeed shorten the distance between us to bring about productivity and foster closer ties. We are very happy to be here. We benefited from the African hospitality, and I want to thank the good people of Djibouti. I want to thank His Excellency most profusely. I want to thank every other person that has contributed to making us have a successful stay here.
For the chairman of the Ports and Free Zone Authority, Abubakar Umar Hadli, he indicated that the objectives of the visit of the Nigerian delegation is concerned discussions on trade and maritime piracy in Djibouti. As part of the improvement of the health structures, and especially with a view to creating a strong and equitable health systems in the countries in general and inland regions in particular, the Secretary General of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, in the presence of the Prefect of Artas region, Mohammed Sheikh Hassan, handed over medicines and equipment and other medical furniture to the medical hospital of the region of Arta. Arriving on the site, the delegation was warmly welcomed by the Prefect of the region, Mohammed Sheikh Hassan, the Chief Medical Officer, and the medical staff who spared no effort to mobilize all health personnel, elders, and civil society for an inclusive participation in this long-awaited day. Proud to have been welcomed with joy and enthusiasm, the delegation without further delay took pleasure in proceeding to the delivery of ultra-modern equipment consisting of hospital beds, various medical furniture, and medical imaging equipment, and important endowment of drugs and other pharmaceutical products that the health regions of Arta will be able to enhance the quality of its health infrastructure for optimal care and quality in its medical hospital centers and its health posts. The objective is, according to the chief physicians, to contribute to the promotions of the regional health ecosystem. He also indicate that this donation is part of the strengthening of health system by 2030 to address all existing problems and deficiencies related to health. Also, as part of this visit, the Secretary General of the Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, took part in the work of citizens consultation launched as part of the symposiums on health are going well and continues in the best conditions. The Secretary General of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, chaired this meeting with all components and officials of the local community of Arta, involving the local community, civil society, customary authorities. Frank discussions and exchanges of ideas are engaged to allow useful and constructive reflections on the health systems at the local level. Note that the participation of the national consultants in charge of collective views and recommendations at the end of the citizens' consultation on the theme of health. The development complex of Ar-Rahma organized this morning an event dedicated to reward the students of the industrial school, the distinguished and creative students in the scientific, artistic, and sports fields. In addition to the opening of the exhibitions of product, which was organized by the industrial school under the slogan "Made in Djibouti." This ceremony was attended by the Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Kuwait in Djibouti, Mr. Khalid bin Mubarak Al-Hassan, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Qatar in Djibouti, Mr. Ibrahim bin Abdullah Al-Shuraim, and the regional directors of the NGOs in Djibouti, Abdul Ghani Al-Qureshi, and the director of education is at the complex, Abdallah Fattouh, in addition to the representatives of the Ministry of National Education and Training, Hussein Bilal. In addition to the faculties members of the complex, the event is part of the tireless efforts undertaken by Al-Rahma Development Complex, which is affiliated to Al-Rahma International Society to keep pace with the efforts of the government led by the President of the Republic in various files. For his part, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Kuwait Embassy in Djibouti delivered a brief speech on this occasion in which he praised the great role played by the regional offices of the NGO Al-Rahma in Djibouti and its valuable contribution to the development process in the country and in the health, education, development sector. As part of this occasion, the exhibition of products organized by the Industrial School under the slogan Made in Djibouti was inaugurated. The officials expressed their great admiration for the various products of the Industrial School, which provides qualification courses in various professionals file, allowing its graduate to enter the labor market immediately after graduation. The event was attended by the Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Kuwait in Djibouti, Khalid bin Mubarak Al-Hassam, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Qatar in Djibouti, Ibrahim bin Abdullah Al-Shuraim, the regional directors of the NGO in Djibouti, Abdul Ghani Al-Qureshi, and the Director of Education, Abdallah Fattouh, in addition of the representative of the Ministry of National Education, Vocational Training, Hussein Bilal, in addition to the faculty members of the complex. Like other corps of the National Army installed in all regions and the countries, the Inter-Armies Battalion of Ali Sabih of the military camp named Harbi of the city of Ali Sabih has celebrated this with dignity the 45th anniversary of the Djiboutian Armed Forces under the command of Colonel Roble Mohammed Abdallah. Let us recall that the Djiboutian Armed Forces were created on June 6, 1977, 20 days before the anniversaries of the National Independence Day. It is in the square areas located in the middle of this well-maintained barracks and they are decorated with the national color that the troops of the Bias of this camp gathered very early in the mornings of this day, meaning their birth. Everyone gathered at the edges of one side of this multicolored square. At this moment, the melodious music of the national anthem was played through powerful speakers. The prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, the president of the regional council, Sharmaki Hassan Al-Laleh, the Member of Parliament, Abdi Khair Bouh, the head of the other regional security corps, officials of the decentralized state services, civil servant, traditional chief, and other guests took their places on the chairs linked up in the shaded platforms immediately after the colonel read the speeches reporting the messages of the happy birthday of the chief of the staff and of the Djiboutian Armed Forces intended for all its members, wherever they rank.
Officiers, sous-officiers et militaires du rang, marins, aviateurs et personnel civil des armées. À l'occasion de la commémoration
Then the soldiers of the Djiboutian armed contingent stationed in Ali Sabeh, they carried out a parade on the road lined with the multiple national flags at the entrance to their barracks. The celebrations of this 45th anniversary ended with the rest laying on corners of the places dedicated to the memory of the member of the armed forces who died for their countries before leaving the barracks. The authorities of the region, the other guests, the officers, and the non-commissioned officers and their colonel participate in the birthday drink.
اللهم احفظ بلادنا بالسلام اللهم احفظ بلادنا بالسلام اللهم احفظ جنودنا يا رب العالمين صلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد الفاتحة
Like the other regions of the interior, the ceremony of the 45th anniversary of the creation of the Djiboutian Armed Forces took place on June 6, 2022, and the Rapid Intervention Battalion BIR in Ali Une. This ceremony was attended by many administrative officials, elected officials from the regional council, traditional and religious leaders, and many villagers. As a prelude to this ceremony, the Chief of Staff, the Commander-in-Chief of the Rapid Intervention Battalion, Colonel Mohammed Mahmoud Assowe, reviewed the units gathered at the sites of the report. The Commanders-in-Chief of the BIR, Colonel Mohammed Mahmoud Assowe, to read the orders of the day, and the Chief of the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces.
Bravo!
Bartiga ugu hore waxay ka hadlaysay wixii ciidanku
The Rapid Intervention Battalion unit, led by the deputy officers, have paraded in front of the authorities and the population of Ali Une, present in mass at this ceremony on invitations of the Chief of Staff. The ceremony was attended by the Chief of Staff of the Rapid Intervention Battalion, Colonel Mohammed Mahmoud Assowe, the Deputy Prefect of the locality, and the American corporations at the camp of the American Armed Forces stationed in Djibouti. This is a testimony of the attachment and the permanent thought toward the comrade who died in the exercises of their profession. Finally, the ceremony was closed with the refreshment drink hosted by a folkloric troupe of the Ekomils and the villages of Ali Une. He noted that the Ekomil is the crucible of military training for both soldiers and non-commissioned officers, since it currently hosts 450 young people.
كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اغفر المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا. اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. فتح.
For the international scene, a UN report accuses Israel of being the main cause of the conflict with the Palestinians. Israeli occupations of Palestinian territories and discrimination against the Palestinian population are the main causes of the recurring tensions and instability, according to a report released Tuesday by a commission of inquiry mandated by the UN Human Rights Council. The funding of and recommendations related to the report causes of this conflict point overwhelmingly to Israel, which we analyze as an indicators of the asymmetrical nature of the conflict and the reality of one state occupying another, wrote the chairman of the Commission, South African and former High Commissioner for Human Rights, Navanetem Pillay. Ending Israel's occupations of territory in full compliance with the Security Council resolutions remains crucial to ending the persistent cycles of violence, reads to the first report written by the Commission. What has become a situation of perpetual occupation has been cited by both Palestinians and Israeli stakeholders. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.